Car manufacturers take great pride in the robotic precision and quality of building today's vehicles. But there's a car factory in England that can only be described as opulent. The cars are expensive, the building is expensive. The people who work here wear designer clothes to match their designer surrounds. This is no ordinary factory. Welcome to McLaren HQ.
It could be just another day in the office, but for the people who work here, it seems Monday mornings are a lot easier to face.
And why wouldn't they be, when their office is hailed as one of the most sophisticated workplaces on the planet? The glass and aluminium structure covers 22,500 square metres, or 57,000 square feet, enough to hold 9 jumbo jets. If you don't recognise the McLaren name, you may recall the car. The F1 was the world's fastest production car, and when Beyond 2000 visited in 1996, McLaren were already making a name for themselves for tech innovation and design. Fast forward nearly a decade, the English company is now 40% owned by Daimler Chrysler. They've teamed their luxury car badge Mercedes with McLaren to create the Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren, and its racing companion, the McLaren Formula One race car. The SLR's design is reminiscent of the gull-wing Mercedes sports car of the 50s, with Formula One racing pedigree added to give it new millennium flair. It takes 140 people a year to hand-build 500 SLRs on a 200-metre production line, not a robot in sight. The newly developed V8 supercharged engine can take the car from 0 to 62 miles per hour, or 100 kilometres, in 3.8 seconds. And the price for this opulence? Around $450,000. But let's face it, if you have that much money to throw at a car, it's not going to be used to get the kids to and from school.
In this room, there's around $20 million worth of cars being made. They're so exclusive that the 7-year plan caps production at 3,500. They say you've got to spend money to make money, and given the first McLaren car produced around 10 years ago is now worth almost double its value, I reckon these aren't such a bad investment.
You can't help but notice how amazingly clean the production line is. Even the workers are spotless. In their black designer Hugo Boss uniforms, they are so well dressed, they look more like they should be going night clubbing than assembling cars. And it's not just for show.
So what was your vision for this place? It's such an amazing facility. Where did the inspiration come from?
Inspiration came from us trying to make an environment that nobody wanted to go home from.
Yeah.
You know,
Ron Dennis is the CEO of the McLaren Group. His theory is that if you motivate your staff with inspiring surroundings, they'll reward you back with dedication to their work.
At the end of the day, the heart of the company is its people. And what you're doing in putting them in an environment like this is creating one of the forces that leads to high levels of motivation and focus, you know, and of course a determination to win. It's about aspiring people to be the best in the world and to really set very high goals for themselves. So what you're improving on a sort of week-on-week, month-on-month basis is the mechanisms which determine team spirit and team focus.
All up, almost 900 people work in the building. The building's large open-glassed areas would cost a fortune to air condition. So architect Lord Norman Foster hit upon a cool idea.
This property has 5 lakes, but they're not just here for appearance. Their main role is to regulate the temperature inside. The water flows down here to the pump house, where it builds up enough pressure to pump out 100 litres of water per second. And in true McLaren style, this place is absolutely spotless.
The water is then pumped via pipes through to a series of heat exchangers, which are used to cool the air. It's then recirculated via a 160-metre cascade of shallow steps that cools the water so it can be pumped back into the building, to continue the cooling process. The building is also the place where 9-time Formula One winner Kimi Raikkonen brings his car for a grease and oil.
Do you reckon I'll fit in there?
It's going to be pretty tight, but let's see.
Let's try and get in.
Right, so just like getting into your bath at home.
Right.
So if you put one leg over.
Yep.
The whole cockpit, seat and all, is moulded exactly to the driver's body.
Yep.
Let your feet drop down.
Oh, it's tight. Oh, Kimi's skinny. Very skinny.
I can tell you, these things aren't comfortable. But the theory is, if you're thinking too much about comfort, then you're not thinking about driving.
For most guys, this is a boyhood dream, and I must admit, I couldn't wait to get in here, but it's pretty uncomfortable, and I can't wait to get out. So tell me how to get out.
Right,
because
first
I'm
off.
going to struggle.
Okay, hard to believe such discomfort as that can exist in a place that's, well, so impeccably comfortable. Beyond tomorrow, all workplaces should look like this.